What's going on, guys? This is Frank Hatzis, and you're in Rope Dart School. Welcome to Rope Dart School, where we talk to other darters who are making massive waves and a positive impact in the rope dart community. My goal with this show is for you to hear what these aspirational darters are doing and how you too can become a living rope dart legend. All right, guys, I am so excited about our next guest. He has been training with the Suruchin for 7 years and is based out of Knoxville, Tennessee. He is the author of Suruchin, the flexible weapon of Okinawan Kobudo. He is a 7th degree black belt in Ishin-Ryu and has also studied styles such as Shotokan Karate, Aikido, and Kendo. Best of all, he will be teaching at Dart Arts 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Scott Britt.
Thank you very much, buddy. It is awesome to be here. Really been looking forward to this.
Oh, yeah, man. I've been looking forward to talking to you for a while because we have quite a lot in common in basically life, but really in the weapons world. I was going to say rope dart, but it's a little bit different, and we're going to get into that. I'm going to start my questions with you the way I start all of them, but I'm going to just change it up a little bit. And that question is, what got you into training with the Suruchin? And why don't actually first, before you answer that, why don't you explain to all of our listeners and watchers or viewers what the Suruchin is?
Uh, Excellent way to start, because a lot of people who do rope dart may not be quite familiar with Suruchin. Suruchin is a traditional Okinawan weapon that, best we can tell, has its origins in double-ended meteor hammer. There's a couple different versions. One of the main traditional ones is just a couple rock weights on a rope. It's a little shorter than a traditional rope dart, as in it's 1.5 times arm span instead of double. There are a couple other versions, such as chain with a handle on one end and a weight on the other. Particularly nasty one has a weight with backward facing spikes. So when it wraps around, it'll catch into clothing, skin, whatever for a catch and drag. It's a really fun, interesting weapon. But yes, if you're curious about the dimensions, it is almost exactly the size of a oxbow or a puppy hammer that Charlie Cushing covers.
Very cool. Yeah, I noticed that one that head that you just held up is actually in your book. I remember seeing that photo and thinking, "Oh man, like that's just me." So, what got you into the Surgeon?
I actually started out with Manriki, the about 2 foot weighted chain, several different names for it. Started that about 23, 24 years ago.
Oh wow!
Uh, really enjoyed it, really got into it. Actually incorporated it into my school's curriculum. Not traditional to Ishinryu, just a really fun, really interesting weapon. And then later on, as a black belt, actually, I started researching into all the little branches of my style's history. So Ishinryu has a lot of weapon katas, bow, sai, tonfa, that it got from a style called Rokyo Kobudo. And looking into that, I saw that that style had Suruchin. And I didn't realize up until that point that it had a flexible weapon. And so I started researching into it, looking into it. I was starting out a lot more long than I was comfortable with. So being used to just the 2 foot chain, but really started to get a feel for it, researching, and I discovered that it is this close to being an extinct weapon. So a lot of uh, those couple styles that still use it, teach it. It's reserved for usually 5th degree black belt or higher, which means that all of us Americans that trained to several degrees of black belt came over to the United States, opened a school, didn't bring it over. And it's not just us. I've discovered it was that way for Italy, Spain, Canada, all of these different places. Like the ambassadors of their style to those countries did not practice it. So to my knowledge, there's only a couple of Okinawan masters in Okinawa that still actively use this weapon. So I really wanted to try to promote it, to try to keep it from going extinct. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, loud and clear. You know, it's it has a similar story to the rope dart, and a lot of what I've done personally, we're going back now a long time ago, was just to see if I could perhaps resurrect this dying art. And there were, you know, I could name, you know, older, you know, grandmasters of rope dart that are in America, but I can't actually name any of their students. That always surprised me and puzzled me in the sense that you have known the rope dart, you learned it in China, you know, you're the progenitors, you are the OGs, you brought it here, and yet I've never heard of a single one of your students ever with a rope dart. Like that's how things die, guys. So, you
Yes.
know, thankfully there are some folks out there like such as yourself that step in and fill a need and really resurrect something like the Suruchin.
And just a personal belief, which applies to Suruchin, rope dart, all of these style of weapons, is that they are often counted as advanced weapons.
Yes, let's go
You
there.
have to learn bow staff. You have to learn all these things before you learn that. And as I've said before, that's like saying you have to learn pin spinning before you learn yo-yo. They're
Right.
two separate skill sets. They're
Can I
not
tell you?
dependent on each other.
Can I tell you my thought on that? And it
Please.
might sound a little bit mean, but the reason that you find all of these sifus and senseis that say you have to wait until you master all these other weapons before you can get to say the rope dart is because that sifu don't know the rope dart. That's it. That's the answer, guys. Because if they
Yes.
did, and you had this proclivity to weapons, like you know some of us out there do, why wouldn't you put it in their hand? You know, it's like I used to
Yeah.
say, yeah, you'll learn the rope dart, and really the sifu is just hoping that you know they just keep throwing weapons at you basically until you quit, and you know, and then that's it.
It's a cover up for potential ignorance.
Oh, I mean, I think it's exactly that, and it's like it's okay to not know the what. Just say, hey, you know, I don't know the weapon. I wish I did. You know what? We
Yeah.
could call Scott. He'll come visit the school and he'll teach it to us. Wouldn't that be great? But they don't do that for some reason. I don't understand. You know?
Yeah. And I think there's especially as a head over school or definitely over a style, nobody wants to look foolish, which if you hit yourself in the back of the head with a rope dart, there is that risk. So they may want to just hide
I
it away, not let anybody but their deep, closest students, high level, see them even attempt it.
All right. I mean, again, I'm just gonna maybe be push a little resistance there, and
Okay.
yeah, and the reason I'm saying that is because I just had this conversation with someone. So I've been teaching somebody rope dart. I've met him twice in real life. He lives in Ohio, twice in real
Okay.
life, but I've also been helping him virtually. And I've been saying, look, you should compete, you should compete, you should compete. And he's like, no, I'm not ready. I don't want to embarrass you. And I said, hey, look, buddy, let me tell you something. For me personally, the embarrassment is that you're not going and competing. That's the embarrassment. I don't care if you lose. I don't care if you hit yourself in the back of the head. None of that means anything to me. If you're worried about me now you, it's a different story. But if you're worried about
Sure.
me and you're going to use me as an excuse not to compete, I'm going to chop your head off right there because to me, the embarrassment, the disrespect, the dishonor is not competing.
Yeah. And I've competed with Suruchin a handful of times. And I've, especially in days past, I've competed a lot. I have all the plastic that I need. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? So
Sure.
the only reason that I'll go to a lot of the tournaments local around here is just to compete with Suruchin so that everybody sees it
Hmm.
and sees that it's a traditional weapon, sees that it's an option, knows that it exists. Because
Well,
that's
that's where I go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah,
Go ahead. Well, I mean, we have a lot in common. That's where I started with the rope dart. Is what a lot of our viewers, listeners, watchers, listeners, whatever, need to understand is that the way and I'm speaking specifically from the rope dart because that's my end. But when Scott talks, he's going to be more on the Suruchin part of things. But for me, when I started rope darting, there was nothing. There was no social media. YouTube. There was YouTube, and it was brand new. It was like a month or two old.
yes, yes,
I thought the same thing. The only way to show everybody what this weapon is, you have to go and compete and literally put it in front of their face. That's it. You don't have any other option.
exactly.
So you're
So,
willing to do the legwork.
and I've had judges that will look unfavorably on it because they don't even know that it's a traditional weapon or I'm running a traditional form. You know what
Really?
I'm saying?
Have these? I understand. As I've competed a lot in my life, I know exactly what you mean. What do
Yeah.
they say? Because that's absurd. I mean, even just watching, um, I caught one of your forums on on YouTube, Suruchin no Toseki, no Todeki. Yeah, I
No,
mean
it's
that
like,
looks as
yeah,
traditional as of a Suruchin form that I've ever seen. What do they say to you?
it is. It is. I have, well, they, I'll talk with them afterward and explain that it is, yes, this is not something that I made up. This is something traditional from Okinawa. You just haven't seen it. But that's usually after they've awarded the lowest score possible. It'll be like good score, good score, good score, zero. You know what I mean?
I do, but so here's the thing. But it all depends on. And I'm sure you're a guy like you don't have to come in first place. You're not that guy. You just seem like a
No.
solid in who you are. But my thing is that it also depends on what the value of you going to compete in. So when I competed, to me, the value was not how good am I doing, how many people are seeing this. And if the place was packed and I did bad, that was better than me doing great in an empty gymnasium.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. Yeah, my introduction has changed. So it's like, judges, I would like to run the traditional Okinawan kata. You know what I mean?
Oh, right. Yeah, we got to say that stuff. So I'm a Chinese stylist, a traditional Chinese stylist. So when we
Yeah.
competed, you just walked, you bowed, you walked up, you did your thing, and you walked away. I know when I started competing in NASCA tournaments, for anybody that's not familiar, it's the North American Sport Karate Association, right? NASCA.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, I had to start introducing myself. My name is Frank Hatsis. I'm about to do this rope dart form. With your permission, I will begin. And you know
Yeah.
about that because even in Japanese styles, you say the name of the form before you even perform it.
Exactly. Yes.
Now, what do you know why that is part of the protocol, if you will, when you do the Japanese form? I'm not a Japanese stylist, so it's I'm familiar with it, but I don't really know about it.
Um, I know, I mean, I've only ever done that in the tournaments that I've come up through. So I honestly am ignorant as to the origins of that. So I'm not gonna say that I know something that I don't. I do know that uh there are definitely certain ways certain katas are supposed to be done. And of course, the different styles can have the same kata. And so by telling my style is, my kata is, they know what to expect and how to critique and judge it.
Okay.
Like if I see Seisan or Wansu and I'm coming from an Ishnu background, I might judge them very poorly unless I know, oh wait, they're coming from the style Shoenryu or Goju-ryu, And yes, it's going to look different than mine. Does that make
Oh,
sense?
that makes a whole lot of sense. And thank you for clarifying that because, sure, I mean, what else really could it be? It's just letting, I know in Chinese martial arts, in traditional now, not necessarily contemporary or modern wushu, but in traditional martial arts, a lot of it's in sometimes just the uniform, what you're wearing. Short sleeves is a southern style, long sleeves is a northern style. So it's like the difference between Namchuan and Changchuan, respectively.
Yeah.
And also the Bowen. So I was a Choi Lei foot practitioner and a little bit of Lama Pai, but it was mostly Choi Lei foot. And there's a bow in to the form. So a lot of times when you see traditional martial artists, they're doing all of these things. It's actually just technically almost like an elaborate ceremonial bow, if you will. And that
Yeah.
is a very good indicator of what that style is going to be. And just being a Southern stylist, you see, the difference between Choi Lei foot and Honga and different styles like that. Fu Jiao Pai, they're pretty obviously different.
Sure. Sure. And
Well, go ahead.
yeah, no, go ahead.
Well, I was going to move on to something else, but if you wanted to,
Sure.
say one more thing about what we're speaking of, by all means, please.
I was just saying that all of the tournaments around here, a decade back, were all Ishinru. They were closed tournaments. And they've over the years, one by one, transitioned to all open, which means any style can compete. So it's 90% karate. There is some Chinese, some wushu, some kung fu. But yes, and I've judged at a lot of these tournaments. And as a judge, it's like, I have no idea what kata you're running. I'm going to assume you know to throw a kick instead of a punch.
Mm-hmm.
All I can judge on is speed, power, precision, good stance, the core of any kata. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I judge a lot at the International Chinese Martial Arts Championships, and I mean that's what I look for too. I mean, I know what I'm looking at, but if you get two guys that are both doing, say, a Honga form, now I have to look at, like you said, in sequence, you both did everything perfect, but
Yeah.
was your Mabu deeper? Was your a little bit more jing in your striking and things like that? I always told my students who competed with rope dart and this is for anybody competing, as I'm telling you as a judge, and Scott can either agree or disagree. I'm telling you as a judge, we're sitting there all day. If you are the most entertaining thing we see, that's good. Period.
Yes. And that is very true. As I tell my students, your job up there is to be an excellent actor. It's like you're in
Yes.
front of a green screen. There is invisible blood flying everywhere. The people are dropping left and right. We just can't see them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I do. And that's the whole thing. It's like, you know what? Take us as close as you possibly can to these movements that you're doing. I just want to feel it a little bit. And if you do like a hiya, I don't feel it. And I'm not going to scream. But if you do loud, like hiya, it's like, whoa, like,
Yes.
you just woke me up kind of a thing. So,
Like the weak ki is like a dead fish handshake. It's just disgusting. You know what I mean?
There's just something to it. Yeah, there's something. And it's like, because it's, we're martial artists and there is an element of toughness behind that. There's an element of a strong spirit of confidence and, all the best versions of those things. So whenever I like judging. I hate judging because who am I to judge anybody? But I love getting together with all my martial arts friends from all over the world and spending a weekend together. I would say always. Oh, and another thing that you could appreciate, again, if you're competing out there, most judges have competed. They know exactly what kind of nerves and anxieties you're going through. They know how much it means to you, how much you trained for it. So just go get them. Everybody, like, you think Scott's ever mean to a competitor? I bet you he isn't. I'm never mean to a competitor. Of course not. We're never going to be mean to anybody. So go out there. You learn something about yourself if you do good. You learn something even more about yourself if you do bad.
Yes.
You can't do bad. I don't even mean to say it that way. You can't do bad. You can only learn.
As my instructor told me, the only losers are the ones that are at home on the sofa that day.
I listen. I think all the time the same thing. It's like, leave it to the folks that actually get in the arena. The ones, there's a whole saying out there. I think, sweat, guts, blood, all this stuff, and it's true. It's if I'm not like a sports fan or anything like that, and I got to be honest, I can't understand. I appreciate athletics, don't misunderstand, but I can't
Sure.
understand how some folks can just like love football or something. Like it's like whoa, like I don't know, man, like enough to fight somebody in a stadium. That's weird, but I don't even know how we got
I
there.
agree
But
with you.
so moving along, I would like to talk to you about your book because you and I share just a little bit of a kindred spirit with that. It's not an easy thing to do. I know darn well that it's not. And I have so many questions for you about it. You kind of already answered the first one. The first thing I wanted to ask you was, what made you decide to write this book? I kind of think I know you kind of already mentioned, but why don't I let you answer anyway?
Um, so as I mentioned, researching, getting into it, and you know how things go sometimes when you deep delve into something and you spend hours and hours and hours and hours on it, and the lack of information and the difficulty in finding what I could find. So spending weeks scrolling through not just internet, but Japanese Google, Japanese versions of YouTube, different languages, pulling up translations, bought books that are antique, out of print, and in Japanese that I had to have translated. And there came a point where I was like, if this is the bar for entry to this weapon, nobody is ever going to know that this exists if I don't start writing down, copying my sources, and making it available to people who don't have the time, the resources to delve into something that they don't already know is going to be of great interest to them. You know what I mean?
No, I do. And again, with just spreading that knowledge and keeping something from going extinct, it's quite a task. And it seems like, reading your book, there's a little bit more of a lineage to the Suruchin, where you found past Japanese masters and, or Okinawan masters might be a more accurate term. Um, and the rope dart, so far as I could tell, still doesn't really have that, or there's a gap. There's this great gap between what happened in China, and I'm only going back 40, 50 years ago, but what happened there, and then when it go ahead.
And that's exactly true. I have uh, been able to go back about 100 years, which is just a few generations, because Okinawan lineage is very well researched, well documented. So it's just trying to find where this master learned that portion of his skills from, and then tracing back, which is difficult. But yes, after about 100 years, it just vanishes into history. You know what I mean?
I do. Again, with researching for traditional modern rope dart, it was a lot of dead ends, but there were also a lot of great moments as well. And like I did a lot of the Chinese, internet to find things. Youku is like Chinese YouTube and things. And that helped cross-reference some things I already knew. Which really did want to bring me to my next question with regard to you writing the book was, did you have any breakthrough moments? Because it's a lot of boring, not boring. We love what we're researching, so it's actually fascinating, but it's redundant, and then all of a sudden something big happens, or you connect two things that it's like, wait a minute, I think I'm the first person to do that. I don't know. I might be, I've never seen this before. Do you have any breakthrough moments with your book?
Um, there was a moment of revelation, so to speak, which kind of actually led me indirectly to rope dart. As a side note, I, of course, martial arts are different nowadays than they were several hundred years ago. Several hundred years ago, that was actually needed and used for self-defense, for battlefields, for um, it was actively used and it was actively hidden so that other schools, other people didn't know your techniques, couldn't copy off of you, and your training was kept within your compound. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And of the two main styles that still use Suruchin, after researching and gathering all of the different techniques and katas that they used, I was amazed at the almost zero overlap of techniques from one style to the other.
Wow.
Which meant that if you're practicing this style, there's whole categories of techniques that you're not making use of that you don't even know can apply to your weapon, and vice versa. And that's what started getting me into looking at other weapons. And of course, Manriki has a lot of techniques because you're holding the rope like this.
Mm-hmm.
So that middle portion is basically a Manriki. There's a lot of techniques that the Manriki can apply to rope dart. Started researching into whip chain, lubid, which is like a Filipino wrestling weapon. And of course, Karaketsu Shoge, Kamakusari. Looking at all these different weapons and finding techniques that don't exist in any of the other weapons, any of the other flexible weapons. And so that's what really started getting me into searching into rope dart, where I found your book. That was my first introduction to rope dart. Really, really enjoyed that. That thing has spent countless hours laying open on the grass. So, and then looking into all the different videos, and I will say, I'm very partial to rope or to Suruchin. It is my main thing, but there is hundreds of techniques that is not traditionally in Suruchin that could easily directly apply from rope dart.
Oh, of course. Sense? Sure. I mean, when you even look at a lot of the modern rope dart tech, look, in China 40 years ago, nobody was doing a sunrise, so it's like, yeah. We have, or nobody was doing leg weaves. Nobody was doing a lot of things that we do nowadays. And, all rope dart really did by transitioning. So, I've had the privilege of being around the rope dart for quite a while to watch its growth. And, I think that if it would have stayed in solely the traditional Chinese world, it never would have gotten as big as it did, or as big as it's getting. Like, absolutely would not have. It really did take the modern approach to rope dart, the dance, the fire, the flow, to discover techniques like the sunrise or leg weaves or what have you, anything like that.
Yes. And it bounces back and forth because the performance side of it learns from the martial arts and then gets invented and expanded upon, and all these things discovered. And then as martial artists, we're like, ooh, that I could use that too. You know what I mean?
For sure. And, even just from I'm a collector when it comes to rope dart techniques or any, I'm a collector. So it's like, I just want to learn as many techniques in rope dart as I possibly can until I die. I mean, what's the big deal, guys? That's all I want to do. Like, that's pretty much it. So, Um, Question that, we touched upon this at Dart Arts, but I think, so again, the point of rope dart school, I like to talk to, you know, folks such as yourself that have done some really, really big, cool things. Okay. This is a lot different than just flipping your camera on in your backyard and rope darting. And not that I love those videos and I do that too, but this goes way beyond that. It's like a physical manifestation of a love you have. But in order to get to this physical manifestation of a love that you have, I'm willing to bet, and I could say so for myself with my book, I'm willing to bet that there was some resistance in you writing this book from outside forces. People perhaps not helping you out, not sharing information. Anything like that happen?
There, yes, yes. I'm not going to be a person to say names or anything of that nature, but there was definitely some folks that being traditional Ishinru practitioner, not being from their style, did not want to communicate, did not want to give permission to use certain things in the book, um, and and I'm sure anybody who's done the performance side of things will understand that there are some people out there will be like, well, sure, you can twirl it better than anybody, this side of Okinawa, but what's your pedigree? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah,
Like,
no, I
who
know.
did you study under? And I'll be completely honest. I picked this up. There is nobody in Tennessee that teaches Suruchin.
I would
You know what I
think
mean?
not, you know.
And I tried to be very careful about that when I wrote the book. I wrote it more as a research book. Unlike 90% of the martial art books on my shelf, I cite sources. I use research format
Mhm.
as much as I can, and approach from that point of view to try to make it as complete and as accurate as I possibly can, and not just me spouting theories. There are a couple theories in there,
Sure.
but they're very clearly stated. There's no information on this. My best guess is this. I didn't state it as fact. You know what I mean?
Well, no, I do know what you mean. Traditional modern rope dart, my book has the same thing. It's like, look, there are some things that we have that we could call factual. And even then, I'm very, very reluctant to just be like, it's a fact. It's like, we don't know. And then there are other things where it says, hey, look, based on everything, all of my experiences, everything I've read, everyone I've spoken to, this is my personal take and theory on, this thing, whatever it is. And, it's always reasonable. And I always invite others to look, have your own theory too, or correct
Yeah.
mine, or extrapolate on mine. Maybe my theory is kind of right. Maybe I'm just 40% correct, but there's a whole 60% I'm missing. I don't know. I like your book because it's presented in such a way where it's like, hey guys, this is the icebreaker to now have a discussion about Suruchin. And
Yes. And
here it
and it
is.
is my earnest hope that there's no books in print in English that cover this. And it is my hope that some master, some study in Okinawa that has more information, more insight, will be like prompted, or other people will ask them and prompt them to start producing their own things. I'm hoping that, 100 years from now, there are dozens of books on Suruchin,
Yeah.
and that this is just the kickoff to get people interested, get people researching, learning more about it. Does that make sense? And if for anybody listening, if you see anything wrong in this, please tell me.
Yeah.
I will make another revision to this book promptly.
Yeah, we just want to know. Like we're really
Exactly.
we just want. All I want to do is know about the rope dart. That's it. I really in
Yeah.
life. Obviously, I care about my family and now my son and my stepdaughter and everything and my two cats. But other than human beings, the only thing I care about is the rope dart. So I just want to know about it. You know.
It's
Well,
fascinating. It's amazing the depth that a piece of string and a weight can have. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
It's
It's just
incredible.
it blows my mind.
It's like if all the people, 1,000 years ago could see everything that's been done with it. I mean, there's just the explosion of knowledge of being in New York, being in Tennessee, being in Ohio, and just being able to share and collaborate. And I found this out, and now it is global knowledge. You know what I mean?
I do. And, it's a good thing that we have folks out there like you that just have that spirit that it needs to be let out. And you clearly don't stop at anything until it's freed. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Will we see another book from you anytime soon?
Yes. Yeah.
Ooh.
I
You
have.
share as much as you feel comfortable, just as much. Because look, I get it. I get it. I get it. You don't have to say anything, but you can say whatever you want.
I am not one of those people that care about competition. So I will tell you, and if somebody else wants to make their own and make it better, go for it. Because that's what martial arts community is all about. You know what I mean? But as I mentioned, the different weapons that I've been looking at, um, I'm in the process of compiling a compendium, an encyclopedia of techniques that can apply to all rope or flexible weapons. Uh, that pulls from the sap, from slingshot to Suruchin to rope dart to manriki, to all of these different styles that have things that could easily apply to all the others. I don't know if I'm ambitious enough to get like Ashley Book of Knots level. You know what I mean? And I know there's good as just from the rope dart portion, there's going to be no way to get everything. It's physically impossible to get everything.
Right, right. Yeah,
But
you can't get it all.
to have the categories at least. For instance, with Suruchin, I loved it. I enjoyed it. I really got into all the different things you can do with it. But traditional techniques is mostly um, casting and swings, along with some wrapping, trapping, things of that nature. I didn't learn about shots, the wrapping and popping off elbows, knees, until I got into rope dart. And that is a massive category
Yeah,
that is absent from the Suruchin. You know what I mean?
I do.
So
That's
just
I didn't.
having all this different stuff, Hojo Jutsu, the art of tying and binding, that ancient Japan used back before handcuffs were invented. There is a lot that can apply to rope dart and to Suruchin and to all these different weapons. That's opportunity for anybody. So any weapon that someone practices, hopefully will be able to pick up this book and glean dozens of techniques that they could apply to their weapon. Does that make sense?
It does. And for anybody listening or any of our viewers watching, the book is awesome. It's real. It's an easy and fun read. It's devoid of complicated anything. Scott really makes something that would appear inaccessible extremely accessible. I have the version, the second edition, with the color photos and everything like that. And I mean, flipping through it now, it's just a beautiful book. Even if you never read it, and you should, but even if you never read it, it's just a gorgeous book. And what Scott does that I love in this book is that he gives you forms. You're learning techniques, and then he's actually breaking the forms down for you, which is a pain in the ass to do just from a photography standpoint. Like I'm telling you guys, so it's worth every penny you pay for this book. It's just a wealth of knowledge, and as Scott pointed out, something you're not gonna. If you want to know about the Suruchin, it's in this book. It's all right here. It's awesome.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
That's true. I mean, I just call it like I see it.
Yes, it was months just in the formatting and the proofreading of
Dude, I know, right? Formatting. It's
this
like, guys, you
abbreviation.
understand? Yeah. If you add a word to a page, it screws all the photos up. You don't even know it's correct. Like Scott knows, but I'm telling you, guys, it's like
Yes.
it is the most
You see,
mentally testing. Go ahead.
adjust a photo and it opens a portal. It's just not
Right,
good. It's
right, right.
not good.
Yeah, yeah. Just absolute lunacy sometimes. You got to be a little bit crazy. I got to be honest with you. You had shown us the rock Suruchin setup that you have that was next to you, right? With the rock heads. What does one of those heads weigh?
Uh, Traditionally about a half pound, about 8 ounces.
About 8 ounces. All right.
Yes.
I want to buy one from you because I want to start traveling because I just realized I was like, the greatest way to travel on an airplane, I used to just make up stories about what the rope dart was. It's a plum. And then the meteor hammer. I switched to meteor hammer because that's like it looks less like a weapon. But man, nobody's gonna say anything if I have a rock in my bag. It's not gonna set off any detectors, and now I am armed to
No.
the teeth all the time.
Yes, very true. This is an awesome opportunity, if I may, to say something. Um, so for those of you listening that were at Rope Dart or Dart Arts, sorry, Dart Arts last year, hoping to come this year, and a quick plug, if you can, please come. It is never been seen anything like it. Just that many people with the same love and the same desire and the same openness for flexible weapons. Um, when I was there last year, there was a beautiful rocky beach
Oh,
that
it's
we
Lake. Yeah, it's Lake Ontario, I think.
yes
Yeah.
that we took a photo in front of, covered in these beautiful smooth gray stones. So I took a huge box of those stones back with me, and I will be bringing them to Dart Arts, drilled and dressed to make rope darts or Suruchin.
Right. Well,
So
I cannot wait until Dart Arts to get one. So when we're done
yes,
here, we need to figure out, not that it's hard to figure out, but I would like to buy one of those heads from you. Uh,
there's one with your name on it.
Perfect. Uh, awesome. And it weighs 8 ounces. That's like perfect for me. Like I love that as a rope dart weight. So um,
Yes.
now let's only because you brought it up, can we transition over to Dart Arts for a few minutes?
Sure.
Scott will be teaching at Dart Arts 2025, and I would like for him to go over a little bit about what he's going to be teaching there.
Certainly. So the tentative name for the class is Combat Rope. It's going to be the martial arts side of rope dart. And there's a couple themes about this class. First, I wanted to only have techniques that are not traditional to rope dart.
Okay.
So it's going to be some Suruchin techniques. Also going to be a little bit of sap techniques of these different weapons, Kanketsu Shoge, a few things that you may have seen. I have not yet seen done using a rope dart. So I'm going to focus mainly on those techniques. The second thing is I know there's a good percentage of people, I don't even know what it is, 50-50 of people with a martial arts background versus a performance background.
At Dart Arts?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and there's a lot of Venn diagram guys like me there too, where I kind of try to dip my toes in all of it. But I would say there's definitely something for everybody for sure.
So I'm staying away from anything that has prerequisite knowledge. So like body positioning, stances, throwing, like judo, anything of that nature. So it's going to be very beginner friendly if someone is performance side only, and want to learn a little bit about how to use the weapon in a defensive manner or things they can do with it, this would be an excellent class for them.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And go ahead. Go ahead.
Also, I was going to say that I had an excellent conversation with Bensei,
Nice.
who will also be teaching the combative side of rope dart at Dart Arts. And so we've coordinated. He's going to be, if it was college levels, I'd be teaching like the 101, and he'll be teaching the 201. So anybody that's interested is going to really get a good breadth of technique and different things. So big plug for his class. Anybody that has a chance, it's going to be awesome.
For sure. And I'm just going to echo what Scott said earlier about dart arts. Guys, if you're a rope dartist and you want to get better at rope dart, if you're not going to dart arts, what the hell are you doing? I got to be honest with you, because you cannot leave there without getting better. And as an example, we have Scott Britt, author of Suruchin, teaming up with instructor Bensei to teach combat. I mean, guy, do you understand what the hell just came out of my mouth and how you get that? Do you understand what that means on just a intellectual level of rope dart combative knowledge? Like, are you kidding me? It's such a great thing, and we're so excited. This will be your inaugural year of teaching there. Of course, you've been there before, but you'll be teaching there this year. And I really couldn't think of two better instructors to tackle, haha, pun intended, the combative aspects of rope dart and/or Suruchin. Amazing. Oh my God, it's going to be the event of the year. It always is, isn't it?
And also, for anyone interested listening, there is stuff for everybody. There is for people who just picked up one and want to learn a little bit about how to use it. There's beginner classes, intermediate, advanced. So yes, it's if you think I've only been working with this for a week, still come.
Yeah, guys, you don't have to be a dancer. You don't have to be a martial artist. You don't have to be a flow artist. You don't have to be a performer. You could just be rope dart is for everybody. It's for everybody. You just feel good when you do it. And if you want to feel good, then there it is. It's fine. You know?
Exactly.
Now with Suruchin, I just want to also touch upon with the knowledge bank stuff. Any chance you have tutorials coming out with it? It seems like a weapon that you might need another player because of a lot of the binding techniques. But is there a way to make tutorials of the techniques with another person?
That is, yes. That is something that I am working on and want to do more of. And yes, I realize I want people to know about Suruchin, and I know that YouTube and videos are an awesome way of getting the weapon out there and accessible.
Mm-hmm.
That's just something that I need to work on as a 40-year-old guy. I am not a influencer, so I need to get more into the technical the digital side of it. Does that make sense?
It
So
does. And
I don't have, you know me, I don't have TikTok vibes. I have YouTube instructional vibes.
Thank
You know
goodness.
what I mean?
Well, that's what I like about you, because I'm not a TikTok guy anyway. And look, you're an author of a book which blows an influencer of anything out of the stratosphere. I got to be honest, like influencers, it's not, and you guys know Instagram, it's not real stuff. This is real stuff. So get on the real stuff bus, guys. It's just amazing. Um, Before we go, I do have two last questions for you. One is, what kind of a message would you like to leave and I'm going to, again, I say the rope dart world, but I'm talking, look, if you swing meteor hammer, Suruchin, rope dart, manriki, chain whip, any puppy hammer, oxbow, whatever it is, guys, we like to swing things with weights on cords. So if you have a message for guys like and gals and non-binary pals like us, I'd love to hear
Um, yes. So, uh, Ishinryu, just to give a parallel, Ishinryu is a fantastic traditional style. Has all kinds of punches, kicks, traps, throws, all this different stuff in it. It doesn't deal with weapons. Modern gun defense, things of that nature, like
And Krav Maga.
Krav Maga. Thank you. My mind went blank there. It's like Krav Maga. It doesn't have a lot of jiu-jitsu, of ground fighting, and so we cross-trained in Krav Maga and jiu-jitsu, specifically the Gracie. So the point being, for all dart artists out there, cross-train. There is no one style that has it all, and that
That's
applies
true.
to rope dart, that applies to any open hand style that you can think of. Cross train, learn the best of each style. You want to get fantastic at elbows, do some Muay Thai. You want to
Mhm.
get better at your throws, go take a few judo classes. So cross train and look and see what the world of martial arts knowledge can bring to you.
Sage advice, guys. Open your eyes. There's a lot of stuff out there. I mean, I couldn't agree with that sentiment more. My last question for you is, if you could train with one, I'm going to say rope artist, but we'll also say one Suruchin practitioner for one weekend, Monday, geez Louise, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 days, only one. Who would that person be with, and why would you train with that person?
So, could it be historical?
One more time.
Could it be historical?
Oh yeah, they don't have to be alive.
Okay.
Anybody.
Um, there was a gentleman called Yamadan, who is a 17th century practitioner of the Kamakusari. So the sickle with the chain and the weight on the end.
Sure.
And he was known for killing numerous very skilled swordsmen until one fateful match when he was lured into a bamboo grove where he couldn't make effective use of his weapon and was himself killed. But just the desire to go back in history and see the training, see the kata, see how it's handled from someone who is actually relying on it not to die. You know what I mean? Because that's an
Heck yeah.
entirely different mindset than most of the martial artists today.
Wow, that is probably the best answer I ever got with this question because of the reasoning behind it. Love that answer. Amazing. Well,
Thank you.
Scott, go ahead.
Oh, I'm good.
I was just going to thank you for being on Rope Dart School. I knew I was going to have a great time talking to you. I did not know I was going to have this great of a time talking to you. You're just a really awesome, easy guy. I am so looking forward to seeing you at Dart Arts, just hanging out, kicking back, and just talking weapons, man.
Definitely. Likewise. I cannot wait. It's
For
going to be a
sure.
blast.
Definitely. So, guys, look, I'm going to post the link in the description. Go to Amazon, get this book. It'll be the best thing you ever got with regard to Suruchin and understanding the techniques, the history. Scott's got a lot of knowledge. Look, guys, he's a smart guy. I'm telling you right now, he's a smart dude. This book is well written. It's fantastic. You can also train with Scott at Dart Arts 2025. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram. It is the ultimate rope dart experience, period. To my guest today, Scott, I always appreciate any time we could talk and share ideas. To all of our listeners, we appreciate you. Peace, love, dart life.
Thank you much. Looking forward.